Will Parktown Residences be the cheapest integrated development in the last few years? Let's talk about this today. Guys, finally, I'm back at Tampines, the least visited estate of my entire life. Fair enough. Why? Because if you go about east side, there's Pasir Ris, you go obviously go chalet. East side, maybe go east coast. You go Loyang, maybe really also chalet. But Tampines, unless you have friends there, right, usually you won't have to go there. If you want to eat, usually you go to Bedok, right, or East Coast Lagoon. Seldom you go to Tampines. But having said that, right, before the Easties come and shoot me down, I know Tampines has a very strong draw, which is why today we're going to do the project review for Parktown Residences. So arguably, right, developer actually purchased these at a very reasonable land cost, and therefore whether will the developer be selling these at a low price, at a high price, at an average price, we'll be deep diving into that again. And also at this price of purchase with Treasure at Tampines TOP only selling at about 1,008 plus, close to 1,900 PSF, buying in at the agent quoted $2,300 over per square foot, which is actually touching almost close to the ORI pricing, which is the Toa Payoh pricing of 2,400 starting from. Will there still be any fat left over for the buyers that are buying in today, hoping to flip in the next 3 years to make a profit down there? So if you enjoy unfiltered advice by me that talks about what I think is good and not so good about this development rather than just the project information, do me a favor by liking this video because it's going to help me a great deal. Thank you. So how this video is going to be done is, number one, the project overview in a rapid fire version, downsides of the Parktown Residences, the estimated price matrix of the Parktown Residences, floor plans and site plans, and last but not least, how do I look at Parktown Residences from an investment standpoint. So make sure you stay until the end because that one will be the most important of the entire video. So before we go into the project overview, earlier on, me and my social media manager, he stayed Pasir Ris. Somehow we struggle to use the master plan to find out which is the actual plot that Parktown Residences is being built on. Why? Because today, if you look at the Google Earth, right, basically you see a lot of empty plots of land, and right beside you actually have the tenant EC and also the EC Aurea at Tampines, which is actually just beside Parktown Residences, less than 5 minutes walk away. And it's interesting to see the master plan, right? Actually, this plot right now is built right on top or beside the MRT station, which is directly linked to the MRT station. And why am I sharing with you this Google Earth is not to say like how ulu the entire place is. It's just for you to have a perspective that how much more land there is for future redevelopment. We are basically in the early development stages whereby there's a lot of potential here, because for most people, if you don't stay in the Tampines, when people tell you Tampines, straight away you think of Tampines Hub, Tampines 1, Tampines Mall. So if you scroll a bit further, you realize that actually Pasir Ris is super near Malaysia. In fact, we are just like across Malaysia over here. That is partly why we don't really have high-rise buildings over at this area also, because if you're high-rise, most likely there's a high chance you can get Malaysia signal also, like some houses in Choa Chu Kang. But I digress. So long story short, this area, if you love eating IKEA meatballs and spaghetti, or like me, I love the chicken wing and you want to be walking distance there, it's a very good place. Now coming to the project overview, basically is jointly developed by Capital Land UOL and Singapore Land Group Limited. Total 1,193 units. Targeted TOP date will be 2028 and estimated. Site area is 50,000 square meter. Gross plot ratio is 2.5. Total GFA is 126,700 square meters. And the interesting part is coming. Mixed use development comprising of one podium block with retail, commercial, community club, hawker center, bus interchange. Basically, it's a lot to offer because the land block is really big, and a total 961 car park lots, including 10 lots of EV charging station. So in terms of the overall connectivity, the residential will only start on the second floor, the landscaping and whatnot. So the residents will actually enjoy your privacy on the second floor and above. So the first story obviously is quite a high first story. Will be the retail, the Green Boulevard, the bus interchange, hawker center. Basically all the communal activities were happening on the first floor, basement 1, and the basement 2 of the retail will be actually the car park. This development is not in the central part of Tampines Hub, which most of the time the first thing that comes to your mind is Tampines Mall and whatnot. This is actually closer to the IKEA side, in fact walking distance to IKEA, which brings me to my next point, the downsides of Parktown Residences. So coming to the downsides of Parktown Residences is, number one, it is next to an EC development over at Tampines, and in fact just close by you actually have the tenant EC that will be completing very soon. All this will become competition in the future for the resale buyers, because after Parktown Residences obtain TOP in 2029, just 2 or 3 years later, you will see the MOP of the tenant EC, and in fact shortly Aurea at Tampines as well. So these will become cheaper options for resale buyers in the future. Secondly is a mega development, 1,000 over units. And if you track back at Treasure at Tampines, which was launched in the year 2019, the development only sold 200 over units during day one, which sell about 10% of the development, which proves that sometimes when you meet a new benchmark in the outskirts, it may require a bit of time for people to accept the pricing, because back then it was the first time that Tampines actually saw a new launch condo hitting $1,500 per square foot. People require a little bit of time to digest that kind of pricing. Last but not least, as mentioned earlier on, it's not in the heart of Tampines, it's at the outskirts of Tampines. So buying in here means to say that if you want to go to Tampines Hub and one of the major shopping belt, you will have to take an MRT or a bus to get there. So do you agree with me on the downsides of Parktown Residences? Leave a comment saying yes or no so that I can know your response. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because only 20% of you are subscribed to this channel, and by doing so, it's going to help me so much. Thank you. So coming to the price matrix, all the time we always hope that developer buy low will sell low. For the break-even of this land is slightly above $1,600 per square foot. So immediately people will use 20% profit and slap on it and hope the developer will sell at this price. So for wishful thinking, I will just use $2,000 per square foot as the opening price in case you still think that it will be $2,000. But trust me, you most likely be disappointed, and very high chance you'll be disappointed. So over here, if you ask me, the better price to start for the one bedroom plus study will likely be about $2,200 to $2,300 per square foot. And I'm using this because using the ORI as a gauge, the starting from one bedroom pricing was about 2,005-ish BSF. So using 2,002 to 2,003 is quite a reasonable price to start over here. So means to say that the one bedroom plus study will start at about $1 to $1.2 million. Two bedrooms will likely be also starting from 2,200 to 300 BSF. So starting for a 2-bed 1-bath will be about 1.3 over million. For a 2-bedroom premium with 2 bathrooms will be about 1.5. So likewise for the 2-bedroom premium plus study, most of the time the PSF will be about the same as the other 2 bedrooms as well. So this will be the quantum starting from about 1.7 over $1 million. For the 3-bedroom, maybe you have a chance to see a slightly lower PSF, but before I go on, I just disclaim myself, this video, I don't represent the company nor the development. It's purely based on my own wishful thinking as a buyer that developer will sell lower. But if your agent tell you that the prices will be about 2.3, 2.4, please listen to your agent. So this is purely my own opinion. And the 4-bedroom, I would think that the PSF wouldn't be very different from the 3-bedroom as well. Given the fact that it's only 12-story high, they don't really have a lot of room to play with PSF pricing. And given these days, the 4 and 5-bedroom are pretty sought after as well, it's unlikely the developer will actually reduce the price by too much, because especially in the heartlands, right, the bigger units are usually the more popular ones. So coming to the site map, I'm very sure that in YouTube you see a lot of creators actually talk about the site map and the integrator and all these things. I don't earn from AdSense, so I don't want to make the video so long, but just want you to look at the site map and see how massive this is. You got a huge ass pool, in fact 2 or more. You can see a segmentation here, and also there's an east and even a west. So 1,000 over units, if you're worried that it will be a lot of people, you go downstairs see a lot of people, you most likely won't. Why? Because it's actually spread across a large plot of land. So it's worth noting that the orientation will actually cause some of the units, in fact maybe 30-40% of the units will actually be facing majority west sun as well, and the east and west sun over there. So all the floor plans, right, if you see the floor plan that is given to you, there are like 20 over floor plans spread across the 1,000 over units. In fact, the 4-bedroom premium, I think if I'm not wrong, there are 7 or 8 floor plans. The 3-bedroom premium plus study also come with multiple floor plans. But like what I said, I don't make money from AdSense and go through the floor plan one by one. I will link them in the description. Do download it on your own if you need an assessment which is better. I would think that if you're looking for a better layout, certainly the wider walkway will be the better one rather than the L-shaped walkway. However, having said that, some people in the resale market will also prefer an L-shaped walkway for the purpose of privacy as well. So end of the day, it still depends on the price and the facing that you're getting for. And please don't be mistaken that I didn't spend the time to study the floor plan, which I did. In fact, I'm also looking to buy another property under my wife's name, either a landed or a condo, and Parktown has always been on my mind as well, because the thought of having an integrated development is so sexy, and the track record for integrated developments has been pretty healthy as well. So the unit that I personally think is worth worth considering as an investment will be the 926 square feet C1 3-bedroom unit. Once you walk in, there's no wasted space straight away. On the right hand side will be the enclosable kitchen, and I would think that this is quite a big kitchen. The only downside is that there isn't a window in that area, and walking in, right, you actually enjoy the dumbbell layout, which means a shorter walkway between the rooms, because obviously this layout is quite similar to the layout where you get in Norwood Grand, the 904 square feet 3-bedder, which two of my clients actually bought, because for the sheer fact that I feel that the space efficiency is there. The only thing is that you need to find buyers that are willing to live with your kitchen and both toilets without natural ventilation. And I personally think that this is okay, because if you watch my previous videos before, because my house is a semi-D, so obviously those toilets which are actually inside, not facing outside, will not have natural ventilation. But guess what? My mechanically ventilated toilets always dry up faster than my naturally ventilated toilet. So if you ask me, right, having mechanical ventilation isn't a big deal. And in fact, with good enough cooker hood, right, actually even if you have to do heavy cooking, right, if you get a good enough cooker hood, actually the smell won't travel throughout the entire house lah. Why? Because we are no longer in the mother-father stage where everything is so primitive, quality is very lousy. Now these days the technology is not good, but many times some buyers will have this concern, which agent will, never mind, don't need to handle the objection, just go and buy the unit you like. But for me, I think I have my way of selling this. That's why I got two of my clients to buy the mechanically ventilated toilets and kitchen for Norwood Grand as well. So now coming to why Parktown Residences could be worth your investment. In fact, today is day 2 lah, because you see my hair and my voice a bit different, right? Yeah, the truth is the audio yesterday mic was spoiled, so quite sad, but we're still doing this because we want to make sure that you have all the time to go and watch and review whether you should be investing. So now, first and foremost, we need to clear all the mind blocks that we may be having, which is number 1, Treasure at Tampines did not do well during the 2019 launch, which is March 2019, and many of people will be saying that, oh, because it's a mega development, so it did not do well, Tampines people cannot absorb that kind of supply and whatnot. Of course, if you're not going to buy, all this will be deterrent. However, one thing worth noting is that Treasure at Tampines actually launched during the 2018 en bloc frenzy, where 60 over projects were being en bloc just within 2017 and 2018. And back then we saw the likes of Affinity at Serangoon, Riverfront Residences, Florence Residences, Treasure at Tampines. All 4 projects add up together are close to about 6,000 over units alone, launching within a 1-year time frame. That was when the overall OCR was flooded with supply, and therefore Treasure at Tampines didn't do well. However, if you look at the performance over the months right after the launch, you actually see that the monthly take-up rate were always double-digit, and sometimes even 100 over units within a month. I still remember back then we were doing a lot of seminars. Why? Because we really think that Treasure at Tampines at $1,000, $3,400 per square foot was really a good deal. However, back then everybody was worried about the number of units. Then fast forward to today, the 5-bedroom units and the 4-bedroom units can have profited almost $1 million, and today we are trading at about 1,800 plus BSF. So imagine those people that were willing to buy even though it was a big development, all of them were profitable. Next, having an EC right beside us, which is the Oreo at Tampines, and also the tenant EC, which will be collecting keys pretty soon. Some will regard that as a risk. However, we always need to use an apple-to-apple comparison. Not forgetting, when the tenant EC EOP in 2026, you still need to wait another 5 years, which means to say that the exit for the EC owners will be about 2031 to 2032 range, and the entry price for most of them is about 1,600 plus per square foot, meaning to say that in future when the EC owners wish to exit, they will also be exiting at a range of $2,000 to $2,100 per square foot to have a 30% profit margin in order to justify their 8 years of wait, as compared to a condominium with a 3 to 4 years exit plan. You have to always remember, use apple-to-apple comparison, because Parktown Residences is actually a full integrated project. Your kids don't even have to cross the road in order to get to the mall or even the MRT station or bus interchange. So ask yourself this question: will there be people that are willing to pay a slight premium in order to gain the safety and also the convenience? Last but not least, this development is not within the heart of the Tampines area, which is your usual Tampines Mall and whatnot. But from an investment standpoint, do you want to buy into a location where everything is already built, right? Because the price growth will usually happen during the developmental stages. And moreover, if you look at the MOP HDB flats over here, most of the BTOs surrounding the Tampines Mall area, if you run a check, many of them have already met its MOP. Means to say that a lot of them have already met MOP, so sold and purchased a condominium already, which leaves less demand for people who are looking for the Tampines Mall area when we look at just the HDB MOP area, which brings me to my next point. So coming to whether the Parktown Residences is worth the investment, I always fall back to my 3 key indicators, which is number 1, exit strategy / demand, number 2, future development and pricing. Last but not least is the price justifiable comparing with the resale and also the new launches. So coming to the exit strategy, we all know that 50% of the buyers in the condo market comes from HDB upgraders, and over here you see from Parktown Residences, why do we see opportunity here? Because there's only a few clusters that just met MOP surrounding this area. As you all know, when you buy a property, if you're looking to upgrade, if your children are going to the schools around there, the preschool or the primary school, you most likely wouldn't want to shift too far away from there. And having an integrated development right opposite you, right, certainly offers a very attractive lifestyle to the HDB dollars over there. And more importantly, there are still a lot of blocks that have not MOP. And how much do the MOP HDB cost? Look at this Tampines North Drive 1. The highest transacted was close to $950,000 for a 5-room flat already. So we are looking at future when you're looking to exit, right? What will be the prices of the HDB that met its MOP, that will be meeting the MOP in year 2027? Will they be selling above $1 million? I certainly think that it will. And for context, right, with Singapore average household size about 3.1, you most likely will be able to find buyers who only have 1 child, and a couple with 1 child only needing a 2-bedroom unit, sold the HDB at $1.1 million, a 5-room flat, and then looking to upgrade to a condo for a 500k top up at $1.6 to $1.7 million. Does it make sense to you? So coming to the future pricing and development, definitely looking at the Cross Island line, which will be completed in the year 2030, which will connect you to the Defu Industrial City, where there will be more jobs created over there. And one thing very interesting, I'm really looking forward to this MRT line, because now, right, from Bukit Timah to Tampines, it will take us quite long. I mean, for me, if I go to Tampines to meet a client, it will take me about 30 minutes. But in future, I just need to go to Turf City or King Albert Park. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stations. I think it will take us less than half an hour or maybe 20 minutes for me to get from Bukit Timah to Tampines, effectively cutting down the travelling time by close to 50%. The total number of major business districts will be Jurong Lake District, Punggol Digital District, and as well as the Loyang area. So in future, in order to get to the airport, you don't just have to go by the highway. So further enhancing the connectivity to all parts of Singapore for Tampines North itself. And why is that important? Because currently, most people who are not staying in Tampines won't even know this area. Most people will only start to know when everything is developed. But as an investor, we want to buy before everything is developed. And of course, without having to say, there will be more land that's going to develop around the Cross Island line. Why? They need to ensure the number of commuters to justify having an MRT station at the first place. Now, coming to the existing resale and the new launch pricing, first we want to talk about the resale. The only newest development we can use right now for comparison will be Treasure at Tampines, whereby if you look at Treasure at Tampines currently as a resale property, they really trade above $1,800 per square foot. If you use Coco Palms, for example, Coco Palms is already more than 10 years into the lease term. Currently, they're selling above $1,700 per square foot. So having a full integrated development, brand new, right on top of the MRT station, as opposed to the resale properties that are not near MRT station, I wouldn't think that buying at $2,200 to $2,300 per square foot is really too high. Next, if you want to look at Lentor Mansion, which is a brand new launch just fully sold a couple of months ago, the 2 bedrooms during the launch day in year 2022 already traded close to $2,500 per square foot on day 1 itself. And towards the tail end, right, the 3 bedrooms are transacting above $2,400 per square foot in year 2024. So what I'm trying to say over here is that today, if you're able to buy Parktown Residences, which is a full integrated development with all these amenities, which I won't repeat, so I would think that the price is reasonable if you're using both resale and new launch as comparison. So if you need more information, do give me a call or drop me a text. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bell, because we post weekly real estate videos like this. All the best for your property purchase, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.